Mr. Chairman and members. My name is Christopher Stoll, Senior Staff Attorney at the National Center for Lesbian Rights, known as NCLR, which is a nonprofit legal organization for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people and their families. NCLR has a youth project which was founded in 1993 to address the mistreatment of LGBT youth in the mental health system. Our staff has seen firsthand the many devastating mental and physical health impacts of attempting to change a young person's sexual orientation, including, in some instances, suicide. We have seen the devastating impact on parents and families when they are misled by therapists who give them false information that therapy can change a person's sexual orientation. Because this therapy has no scientific basis and carries such high risks, many of the country's major medical and mental health associations have issued policy statements concerning its use. The American Psychological Association has adopted a resolution stating that there is insufficient evidence to support the use of psychological interventions to change sexual orientation, and has urged mental health professionals to avoid misrepresenting the efficacy of sexual orientation change efforts by promoting or promising change in sexual orientation. The American Academy of Pediatrics has advised youth to avoid any treatments that claim to be able to change a person's sexual orientation or treatment ideas that see homosexuality as a sickness. And the American Psychiatric Association has stated that in the last 4 decades, reparative therapists have not produced any rigorous scientific research to substantiate their claims of cure, and that the potential risks of reparative therapy are great, including depression, anxiety, and self-destructive behavior. This bill prohibits the use of sexual orientation change efforts on minors because they are uniquely vulnerable and the harms posed to them are so serious. Studies conducted by researchers such as Dr. Caitlin Ryan of the Family Acceptance Project at San Francisco State University have consistently documented constructive impact on LGBT youth when their families reject them because of their sexual orientation, including dramatically increased rates of depression, substance abuse, risky sexual behavior, and attempted suicide. For adults, this bill would require therapists to disclose the absence of scientific support for the safety and effectiveness of sexual orientation change efforts and the many potential harms that have been documented by the mental health associations. NCLR strongly supports the bill.
Thank you. Any other witnesses in support? Any witnesses in opposition?
Yes.
First of all, I want to thank the author and sponsor for early outreach. They approached us all. We had a meeting before this bill was even introduced, which we thought was something to be grateful for, and we had a very productive discussion at that first meeting. Unfortunately, the bill that's in print now, it's largely has some definitional issues that we've outlined in our letter. We've suggested that there be changes made to the bill to reflect those points made in our letter. One of the troubling issues is the definition of informed consent that's in this bill. We have our own variation of that, which we would like to discuss with the author further. A second issue has to do with the complete prohibition on allowing a minor to seek therapy, because the definition of sexual orientation change efforts is so broad in this bill that it would encompass things that we really believe shouldn't be prohibited. For example, under existing law, a minor may seek therapy without parental consent when they're over the age of 12. Maybe that minor is having some problems with their sexual identity. We want to make sure that they are still able to seek therapy when they want it, sometimes without parental consent, but that the definition in this bill is so broad that it would prohibit a therapist from seeing that minor. So for that reason, we have an opposed unless amended position. And once again, I want to thank the author for reaching out to us, and we'll continue to work with him. Thank you.
Thank you. Before the next witness, let me just say we're going to be adhering to our 3-person witness policy, so 3 persons can present testimony. Everybody else will just be a Me Too. You can state your name, organization, Me Too.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I am Randall Hager. I'm with the California Psychiatric Association. We're part of the 4 organizations that did sign that paper, and I think Tim summed it up, our particular concerns very well. Couple of things. The quote that you heard from the American Psychiatric Association was true as far as it goes. I would add to that any ethical psychiatrist is admonished not to engage in any kind of therapy that's based on the notion that there is a pathology in homosexuality, and that is the APA's position, American Psychiatric Association's position. We would look at this bill just slightly different, in the respect that there is a potential chilling effect on therapists who would like to engage in a very legitimate back and forth with a client or patient who may be exploring sexual identity or gender issues. And I think that we can work with the author, and we probably will come to some accommodation about that effect of the bill. But we do want to thank the author, as Tim just said, for working with us, reaching out early. The author has been very generous with his time and his staff's time, as have the sponsors. And so we do oppose unless amended at this point, but we are hopeful going forward.
Thank you. No witnesses in opposition.
Yes. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Senators. My name is David Pickup. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist in the Los Angeles area. I'm an associate member of the APA, the American Psychological Association, and I'm a member of NARTH, and I am a member of CAMFT, the California Association of Marriage and Family Therapists. I represent the views not only of myself, but many members of these organizations that oppose SB 1172. And we oppose this bill for the following reasons. 1172 is full of factual inaccuracies about SOCE. There are 30 specific harms, such as suicidality, depression, and anxiety listed in this bill, which are stated to be caused by SOCE. The bill states that any and every one of these harms is documented by the APA's task force in 2009. In fact, none of these harms are stated or documented in any of the publications of the APA, nor in any of the 6 esteemed professional organizations' publications noted in 1172. Also, there has never been a complaint about SOCE to the California Board of Behavioral Sciences. 1172 claims there is no scientific evidence that any type of SOCE is effective. In fact, there is peer-reviewed scientific research that indicates the effectiveness of SOCE, Robert Spitzer's study and Jones and Yarhouse. The methods of research are the same methods used by the APA in claiming the positive effects of other therapies such as gay-affirmative therapy. 1172 actually takes away parents' rights to decide what is in their children's best interests. No bill in America has ever proposed this for any therapeutic standard of care. 1172 would betray the constitutional principle of separation of church and state because it calls for restrictions on spiritual counseling, one of the many forms of SOCE, for people of faith who know that for them, homosexuality is not inborn. As such, American churches will strongly react. 1172 infringes on professional therapist scope of practice. No law has ever restricted or banned any type of professional accepted therapy. 1172, in trying admirably to prevent harm, unintentionally leads to harm by moving toward taking away the rights of individuals to choose the therapy that they believe works for them. There are many people in California, some of whom are your constituents, who have been helped immeasurably by reparative therapy. I have a letter in my hand signed by SOCE therapists and clients, some of whom are your constituents, who speak of opposition to this bill. I myself am a former SOCE client. I haven't just experienced behavioral change. I've experienced in my life actual emotional change. Are you going to marginalize and discriminate against, which this bill would do, by restricting through this bill, and in my opinion, ultimately leading to a ban on all SOCE? I hope you do not. With all due respect, this bill does not reflect an evidence-based inquiry into the scientific facts or anecdotal evidence concerning SOCE. We ask the committee to abandon this bill entirely. We also wish to state that we are not here to promote hate or harm to our esteemed gay men and women. We are not here to do that. But neither can we sit by and watch other men and women who will be marginalized and harmed by this bill. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. We'll take others if you'll just give us your name and organization, and presumably that you oppose the legislation.
Okay. Good afternoon. Matthew McReynolds here, staff attorney at Pacific Justice.